The 3rd of July 1911. Turin, Italy. The morning air hung heavy with mist, a gray veil clinging to the old city's arches. At precisely 8:45 a.m., the Zanetti Express rolled out of the Porta Nuova station, its black locomotive hissing like a patient predator. 3 gleaming carriages followed, varnished wood catching weak sunlight. 104 passengers were aboard, merchants, a visiting priest, a family with 2 small sons, clerks on holiday. It was a routine run to Monterusso, less than an hour away. It never arrived. Witnesses at the San Giuseppe tunnel swore they saw the train enter its shadowed mouth but never saw it emerge. No derailment, no wreckage, no smoke of disaster. 2 men appeared later, staggering through fields miles from the tracks, their suits scorched, their eyes vacant. They whispered of a green fog and faces without mouths. Within days, the tunnel was sealed. The newspapers printed one story, then retracted it at dawn. Company records were stamped scomparso. Tonight, we follow the tracks of a train erased from history. At the end of the line, something waits, something that should have remained sealed in stone. To understand the vanishing of the Zanetti Express, one must first walk the Piedmont region of early 20th century Italy. This was a land of rolling vineyards and hidden caverns, where the industrial fever of Turin spilled iron rails into the countryside. The Zanetti family, manufacturers of clocks and carriages, had turned to rail transport in 1905, promising faster service to rural towns. The San Giuseppe Tunnel was their proudest feat, a 1.8-kilometer bore driven through brittle limestone in 1897, said to follow the path of forgotten Roman catacombs. Local farmers already whispered of voices and underground chapels beneath the hills, but commerce outweighed superstition. On that July morning, the Porta Nuova station bustled, porters heaved luggage tagged with brass plaques. A black-gloved conductor clipped tickets. A large station clock ticked toward 8:45. Today, the clock still hangs in the station museum, stopped at that minute. Archival photographs in Rome State Archive show the train-esque carriages with gilt letters ZE for Zanetti Express. Each photo is now marked missing in red pencil. Old maps show the tunnel's entrance like a stitched wound under the hill, a single portal lined with soot. We can reconstruct the final run in fragments. The train departed Turin at 8:45 a.m. Telegraph logs at Moncalieri show it passing at 8:59. The engineer sent a routine message. All running normal. ETA Monterusso 9:40. A shepherd near Cascina dell'Angelo saw the train approach the San Giuseppe tunnel at speed. He told police it was wrapped in a sound like bees. The train entered the tunnel at 9:13. It never came out. Railway officials dispatched crews at once. They found the tunnel silent, rails intact, no signs of collapse. Inside, the air smelled faintly of ozone. 2 days later, Domenico Faglia and Pietro Lupo, minor clerks from Turin, were found wandering near Asti, scorched and delirious. In hospital ledgers, they babbled about air turning to liquid and 100 hands pressing our faces. Their clothes bore a fine green powder. They were moved to a sanitarium. Their files vanish after 1912. By the week's end, the Zanetti Company abruptly filed for bankruptcy. Its archives were removed overnight. Railway inspectors sealed the tunnel, citing unstable strata. Yet letters from workmen mention a contract from above, forbidding them to dig further. Subsequent attempts to survey the tunnel ended in mishaps, collapsed scaffolding, unexplained fires at depots storing the blueprints. Over the decades, fragments of the vanished train surfaced like driftwood. In 1923, villagers reported masked men arriving in unmarked trucks at night. They bored small cores into the tunnel walls, sealed the holes with wax, and left triangular chalk signs. In 1944, occupying German troops attempted to use the tunnel as a munitions cache. 2 soldiers disappeared inside. The Wehrmacht sealed the entrance again and posted a warning. Nicht öffnen, Gasgefahr. In 1969, a boy hunting mushrooms near the sealed portal found a brass pocket watch engraved ZE 845. It was still ticking. In 1973, an Italian geological survey attempted to reopen the tunnel. They withdrew after discovering rails that led straight into solid rock, sleepers embedded in stone as though molten metal had flowed over them. Villagers began telling stories of blank-eyed children singing in dialect near the portal at dusk. One old woman described a priest without a face walking the hills. In 1987, a hidden rail yard 20 kilometers away was uncovered under brambles. Inside stood 3 empty carriages with Zanetti insignia, their doors fused shut. No record shows how they arrived there. Each clue deepens the tunnel rather than illuminating it. Explanations multiplied. Some claim a massive sinkhole swallowed the train, but no cavity that size exists. Others whisper of an undisclosed chemical experiment, the green fog, a hallucinogenic gas escaping from military stockpiles hidden in the hills. Another theory reaches toward the Vatican, citing letters about unsealing the catacombs beneath San Giuseppe. The most unsettling suggestion is temporal. In 1845, a Veracruz newspaper described a ghost train appearing on Mexican tracks, bearing Italian lettering and passengers who screamed behind glass. Redacted Italian Ministry of Transport files, glimpsed by researchers, show entire pages of black ink. Local journalists who pressed for answers received anonymous warnings. Each official silence feels like a hand covering the mouth of history. As you watch old footage of the tunnel's black mouth, imagine rails leading not forward but elsewhere, a line drawn off the map. Present each theory slowly, like a prosecutor placing evidence on a table, and let the viewer feel the weight of every unanswered question. Today, the San Giuseppe tunnel is overgrown, its stones splitting with roots. Drone footage shows cracks in the portal, faint metallic vibrations at dawn as if something deep inside still moves. In 2011, on the centennial of the disappearance, an unpublished memo circulated among regional officials, a photograph allegedly taken by a seismic probe inserted a few meters into the sealed tunnel. It shows a single carriage window in darkness, a blurred face pressed to the glass. Date stamped the 7th of March 2011, 8:45. No agency claims ownership of the image. The probe was withdrawn. The portal resealed. The memo ends with a single typed line. Do not ring the bell. The music fades. The screen darkens. The voice slows. The Zanetti Express left Turin once. 104 souls aboard. And perhaps even now it is still on its way.